My name is Drew. I'm here with my homie John. We're part of the team at Royalty Exchange, the leading platform for anyone to sell and buy music royalties. Today, we're going to be starting something super special, talking about one of the big listings that's currently live on our platform. How you doing today, John?
Doing good, Drew. Excited to talk about this listing. So give us a breakdown of what we're looking at.
Nice. I want to first start off and pose you this question. What happens when you put three artists, all from different countries, who, let me read this because the numbers are mind-boggling, a combined 384 times platinum in the US, UK, and Latin America, have 10 songs on Spotify with over 1 billion streams, and have sold over, this is crazy, 120 million singles worldwide, all in the same song. What do you get?
All of that, all on one song. What
Yeah,
do you get?
that's like the Avengers of music.
I think icon. That's what I think of.
Nice.
Iconic music.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the big songs in this listing that we're talking about today is David Guetta's 2018 smash hit, Say My Name, featuring none other than J Balvin and Bebe Rexha. David Guetta, of course, the iconic DJ producer from France, J Balvin, the legendary reggaeton and Latin artist from Colombia, and Bebe Rexha from the US. Started off as a super strong songwriter, working with everyone from Eminem to Rihanna, and now having her own solo career with huge hits, some with David Guetta, multiple collaborations with him, some on her own. One of her most notable ones with G-Eazy. She's been a mainstay in the 2010s and 2020s. And today we're going to be talking about some of the cultural impact behind these artists in this song, and also some of the financial highlights so that you can get a good idea of how much this catalog could be worth today.
Those three artists combined pretty much cover the music globe for popularity. So it makes sense that a lot of the earnings from this catalog come from international sources. But tell us about David Guetta. I mean, he's the driving force behind this catalog and this song. Tell us about his impact.
I mean, when I was doing my research, I've known that David Guetta has been a mainstay in the DJ and producer electronic dance scene for many years. I remember going to music festivals growing up and always seeing his name just plastered at the top of like the lineup, headlining year after year. I had no clue that this man was 56 years old and still going strong today. Like, that's just nuts. Got his feet wet, DJing clubs in Paris. Really, he became like this melting pot of different musical influences early on in the late 80s. So he's been doing this. This is his fifth decade in, which is absolutely crazy. He really got his international breakthrough around like 2009, 2010. He had this huge hit song with Akon. I wish Akon was still, doing his thing on every single chorus and hook. Today, I miss those days of the early 2000s where he was just on every track, just making bangers. But he had that song Sexy Bitch with Akon, and you couldn't go anywhere without hearing this. And he also produced the song for the Black Eyed Peas when they're at their absolute peak. I Got a Feeling. Everyone knows that one.
Yeah.
Absolute banger. Like one of the biggest songs of all time. Early on in like the iTunes days, it was actually the most downloaded song ever. So he's really been around for a while. And at this point, he's really built this reputation as almost a DJ Khaled on steroids, working with people from all over the world, from Rihanna to Sia to J Balvin, like I said, Bebe Rexha, of course, to even like a lot of Afro beats artists today. And his sound really is a melting pot of so many different cultures and genres. And one thing that he does really well is puts all these people on songs together and creates this unique like blend of different sounds from around the world that people absolutely love. And the fact that his music is dance music is just so fun and upbeat and happy that now, since we're like 2 years post lockdown, everyone wants to go out and dance and have a good time. So you can see with the earnings and with the streaming that his songs have so much longevity and consistency in the earning and the streams, because people just want something to look forward to, have a good time, go out, dance. And he's really one of, the poster childs of this kind of music.
And that shows in the earnings. I mean, this song alone makes up 60% of the contributing revenue for all the catalogs or all the songs in the catalog. And this catalog has about 25 different tracks in it with a bunch of big artists. So, I mean, just a testament to David Guetta and his influence. And like you said, he's been around for 5 decades effectively in the music industry. Started to peak in 2009-10 with Sexy Bitch and other hits like that. This song is still well within the realm of his peaking. It's a 5-year-old track, and it's been earning consistently for years. I mean, obviously in the early stages, it's been at the height of its earning with radio. But as songs get older, they tend to develop what we call the earnings tail. And that's when stuff gets to be in regular listenership. People are regularly streaming it. It might be on some fixed playlists, stuff like that. So the earnings get really, really solid, really consistent. And in just the last 2-3 years, it started to happen with this track. I think the fluctuation's been around 10% up and down, which is exactly where you want to be for something like this. And again, this all goes back to David Guetta, J Balvin, and Bebe Rexha, and the influence that they have, right? These are massive international superstars with massive streaming presence, and it shows. The royalty earnings are directly indicative of the consumption, and the consumption is that people are listening to it all over the world.
And just touching on that a little bit more from the streaming perspective, I think one thing that's super cool about this song in particular is that a lot of older songs, like post release date of a year plus old, especially on Spotify, if they're big hits like this one, they end up on these key editorial playlists that are not only like genre specific, but also mood and like activity related. And if you look at any of these playlists, this one in particular is on like 15 to 17 different playlists of this nature, with each of them having over 100,000 followers, some having over 1 million. These songs are on these playlists for a year plus amount of time. And so they're getting thousands and thousands of streams a day from people who listen to these when they're pre-gaming to go out, want to have a house party, want to clean around their house and want something upbeat. So it's really cool to see that level of longevity and consistency on the editorial ecosystem on Spotify. And then also even further, since you have an artist like J Balvin on this song is a consistent mainstay in so many different Latin charts on Amazon Music, showing just how like diverse of not only the playlist ecosystem and streaming this song has, but also on various digital streaming platforms, which is super cool. And you don't really see that too often. Like usually some songs are, have a lot bigger performance on one DSP over another, but this has a lot of editorial activity and consistency across pretty much every single DSP, which is super cool to see.
And that extends beyond just the DSPs. And that's stuff like, Spotify, Apple Music, even to stuff like YouTube. People are even streaming the song through video, and we see that in the earnings too. It's all part of it.
Yeah, I mean, just touching on that too. I mean, you look at someone like J Balvin, and I want to ask you this question too. So I'm going to give you a few different artists who Spotify has this really cool thing called the Billions Club playlist. It's one of their editorial playlists. And you only get on this if your song has over 1 billion streams. Pretty straightforward, right? Like it says it in the name. I'm going to give you a few artists, and I want you to guess like which artist has the most songs on this playlist. Are you ready?
All right, let's hear it.
Cardi B, Travis Scott, SZA, J Balvin, J Cole.
So who has the most in the billions?
Who has the most songs on this playlist and
Oh man,
over 1 billion streams?
I want to say J Cole, but are you telling me it's J Balvin?
It's J Balvin. He's got 5. The other ones have either 3 or 4. And so this man, J Balvin from Colombia, who's been a mainstay in reggaeton and pop music since his breakthrough in 2018, is, just crushing the game on streaming across the world. He really got his like international breakthrough with Cardi B's hit song I Like It back in 2018. He's been doing his thing in Latin America and across the globe before then with his big breakthrough album Energia back in 2017. But really since then, he's taken it to the next level. And like you said before, talking about YouTube, the YouTube audience in Latin America is so strong. It's one of the biggest DSPs in Latin music. It's free to listen to, and people are just watching music videos constantly over there. Like so many Latin artists have songs on YouTube with over 1 billion plays. And the fact that his feature is on this David Guetta song, this audience is so strong, and it's going to continue to grow as these DSPs like Spotify and Apple battle for emerging market listenership in some of these, emerging countries, that it's only going to keep creating like this never-ending cycle of continued increased listenership in some of these different places, which is super cool.
Yeah, it is super cool. And to just get down to the nitty-gritty of the numbers, this song earned $45,000 in the last year. 37,000 of that came from just streaming. It is a huge part of the catalog, and the artists are the reason why.
Yeah. I mean, just going further off that, I mean, you can see in the numbers in revenue of the past couple of years in the total recorded music industry and also projections into the future. Latin music is expected to increase so much in the next decade because of these emerging markets getting paid subscriptions and these DSPs fighting for market share in these different countries. The Latin music revenue was over $1 billion last year, which was a 24% annual increase. And already in the first half of 2023, it's projected to increase even further. So there's a ton of key artists, J Balvin being one of the biggest ones in the space. And the fact that you could potentially own a piece of a J Balvin song connected with, big electronic artists like David Guetta and a huge hitmaker like Bebe Rexha is just, you don't really get this opportunity too often.
You have the solid consistency of these massive stars, massive emerging markets from the Latin music markets, and the increase of streaming consumption all over the world. And on top of that, this catalog in particular includes the streaming mechanical royalties, which for the US domestic is undergoing a huge legal change in that their revenue payouts for streaming mechanical royalty rates are increasing by 45% this year. Massive increases to payouts, massive increases to market share, massive increases all across the board. So you buy at the bottom of the consistency and you ride the growth.
Yeah, I think that's really special for everyone across the board, musicians themselves, and then also investors like potentially you who could get, a song at the perfect time while these new laws are, taking into effect. I want to touch on just some of the social media impact of this song as well before we wrap this one up. So obviously TikTok has been like the huge prolific power mover shifter in the music industry the past few years. We've seen like 13 out of the 14 number one songs on Billboard in 2022 be driven by viral trends. And TikTok is one of the biggest platforms and areas where consumption and discovery takes place today. And this song in particular has over 729 million views on TikTok videos. And it's been used in over 580,000 different individual user videos, which is mind blowing. Obviously, you can't project, streams based on these numbers, but the fact that this song, from just the sound perspective itself and these huge artists on it, is a mix of electronic dance music and a reggaeton backbeat, which both are super popular sounds for creating videos on TikTok. This song could have secondary legs into the future. And so the fact that it has that potential in other songs from David Guetta, Bebe Rexha, and J Balvin, like David Guetta and Bebe Rexha's other big hit, I'm Good, which went super viral on TikTok last year. This song has the potential to do that again. And so putting this in your catalog with the ability to, drive that even further down the line is something that is worth the investment because we've seen time and time again what happens to these songs that go crazy on TikTok. And you never know. This could be another Billboard top 40 song in the future. We've seen songs time and time again be released, 5 years plus in the past, and then go on to chart like crazy, even way after their release because of social media movement.
580,000 individual users. Now, let's say they each have maybe 10 people that are following them. That's already 5 million people streaming the song just from TikTok alone. And that's a rough estimate, right? Let's assume some people have thousands of followers, maybe hundreds of thousands. The exposure you get from TikTok alone for a catalog like this that generates income from people watching that stuff, you can't measure it.
Yeah. And another thing, just touching on that I want to bring up too, is TikTok actually just added this really subtle feature, but it's actually big time for music consumption. Before, you could only Shazam internally and then look up a song on Apple Music, or you would have to like memorize the lyrics to a 15-second snippet and then go in and search it on YouTube or Spotify or whatever, and hopefully luck out and find the song. But they literally just added this add to music app feature within the TikTok platform where you can go in and on any video, it doesn't matter if it's the official sound of the song or a user generated sound that uses the song, their like content idea is so powerful that you can now go in and with one click of a button, add the song to Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, and Apple Music for any user's preferred DSP. So I think in the next few months, we're really going to see an increase in direct conversion from TikTok videos with songs to streaming on the DSPs themselves, which is very exciting.
And enhancements to discovery lead to more consumption, which means to more streaming numbers, more royalty revenue, all good things for this catalog on a look forward basis.
And I couldn't have said it better myself. John,
where do we find this catalog, Drew? Tell us.
So you can find it right now in the description below at royaltyexchange.com. We'll link the direct listing if you want to place a bid. Right now, there are multiple offers on the catalog listing, and you can see the current highest offer on the asset and place your bid if you want to have the chance to own a piece of this hit and so many other amazing songs in this catalog as well.
Drew, thanks for the history. Thanks for the breakdown. I'm excited to see where this one goes.
Me too, man. We'll be back again with another catalog listing very soon. So get subscribed below. Follow us on all socials to see some more breakdowns of some of the amazing songs that we're listing on the platform. And if you are a musician and stumble upon this video, have some songs that you either want to get a valuation for, because we do that for free, which no one else does in the business, or want to sell some of your songs on our platform, you can find us at royaltyexchange.com as well, or even just shoot us a DM on Instagram, Twitter, whatever. We're everywhere. We're always finding musicians to work with, and we would love to hear from you. So thanks again for watching today, and we'll see you next time.
Take it easy.